Hi everyone and welcome back to the Clever Report. But before we start, make sure you like, subscribe, do all the fun things. Turn on post notifications so you'll be notified anytime I drop another video. So now let's talk about Pope Francis. Sorry, Pope Leo. Pope Leo XIV, the current Holy Father. I've tried to give the Holy Father the grace, the benefit of doubt because of certain policies, especially being a friend of the former Pope, Pope Francis of the blessed memory. There are certain policies he's enacting, certain comments he's making about things like abortion, immigration, the death sentence that is not clicking. I don't think as a Catholic, as a Christian, it should be the policy, it should be the standpoint, or it should be something that we should agree on. It doesn't make any sense. There are certain work policies. We actually thought that when he comes, we make certain adjustments because, in my own opinion, the papacy of Pope Francis was very, very controversial because certain work policies were being enacted. The church was being ambiguous on certain things like homosexuality, abortion, and illegal immigration, and a whole lot of things. Basically, he was just, singing to the work choir. Does that mean everything he did was wrong? No. Oh, I genuinely think, and this is, I think, 60-70% of Catholics, this is a general consensus that he was too liberal for our liking. Now, there's a clip of Pope Leo XIV, making a comment about abortion, death sentence, and immigration. So I want us to watch the clip. Then I'll give you my take on what's happening.
Someone who says I'm against abortion but says I'm in favor of the death penalty is not really pro-life. So someone who says that I'm against abortion but I'm in agreement with the inhuman treatment of immigrants who are in the United States, I don't know if that's pro-life. So they're very complex issues. I don't know if anyone has all the truth on them, but I would ask first and foremost that there be greater respect for one another and that we search together both as human beings, in that case as American citizens or citizens of the state of Illinois, as well as Catholics, to say we need to really look closely at all of these ethical issues and to find the way forward as church. The church teaching on each one of those issues.
Now, this is the problem. These same tactics the leftists do. When they say they are equating abortion, which is the illegal and the harmful killing and the killing of innocent children in the womb. They are equating it with death sentence, where a criminal, a repeat offender, a violent offender that's probably murdered somebody that is convicted by a jury of his or her peers to be put to death because our moral code as a country or as a society says that you shouldn't do this. But how are you trying to make the same equivalence with abortion, which is the kids are innocent and factually, both scientifically, the fetus is an alive, is breathing. You go for ultrasound and stuff, you see the heartbeat of the child breathing. So taking out these children limbs by limbs, and there's a genocide. I will even go as far as saying that the systematic killing of kids in the womb is a genocide happening in the world. And people are not saying anything about it. But the only father trying to draw this false equivalence that if you are pro-life and then you are for the death sentence, that means you're not pro-life. This innocent kid that is being murdered, taken out limbs by limbs, and a violent offender that is a criminal, are they the same thing? It doesn't really make any sense. So at first I was being emotional about it, saying that why would the Holy Father say this kind of thing? And I made a little research about the church's official stance on the death sentence. I may not agree with it because it was actually revised by Pope Francis during the woke era of the Catholic Church. That's what I would call the papacy of Pope Francis. So in the past, the church acknowledged that the death sentence could be possibly used if it were the only possible way to effectively defend human lives against the unjust aggressor. CCC 2267 earlier editions. However, with modern improvements in penal system, the church judges the cases requiring execution to protect the societies are very rare, if not practically non-existent. CCC 2267 1997 edition. In 2018, Pope Francis approved a revision of CCC 2267, which is now it notices that death sentence penalty is inadmissible because it's an attack on the inviolability and dignity of a person and commits the church to work for its abolition worldwide. This is a very, very woke stand. Even though the former Holy Father has actually revisioned this thing, but saying that violent criminals and violent murderers that have been sentenced to death or should be given the death penalty should be abolished worldwide. What incentive? That means you are removing the incentive for people to do well. People will actually say, okay, since they are being fed by the taxpayers' money for the rest of their lives. No, it doesn't make any sense. This position develops from the church's constant defense of the sanctity of human life, CC 2258. Even the guilty do not lose their God's given dignity, and the state has means to punish and protect society without resorting to execution. So you want these violent murderers to keep enjoying the taxpayers' money, feeding them thrice or twice a day, just because you want to protect human dignity. A violent, a murderous human being is not the same thing as an innocent child, an innocent baby. There's no way you're going to make that false equivalence. Is this the problem? What happened last few weeks ago about the gay parade, basically gay parade in the Vatican? The Holy Father was not saying anything about it. And in the same vein, there was a clip of the Holy Father. You know, the whole everybody knows that climate change host is just a agenda, a leftist agenda, a Marxist leftist agenda, just to drain countries of their hard-earned money to even enact all these woke policies that do not come into fruition. The Pope was actually blessing an eyes. And let us just watch the clip. It's crazy.
Lord of life, bless this water. May it awaken our hearts, cleanse our...
Signore, con tutte le tue creature, laudato si, mi Signore, con tutte le tue.
Not delay. Will you join with us?
Laudato si, mi Signore, con tutte.
Now you see the Holy Father. I don't know. There are certain things you will do, and then people will just say, "What is the Holy Father doing? Why are you bowing to this woke mob?" It's very, very, very crazy. And now there is a cynical interpretation to all these things, even though I'm skeptical. I'm very, very skeptical about his purpose. But there are two interpretations you want to give. You want to give the cynical interpretation. You say that the church has been infiltrated, the church is cooked, which who knows? I don't know. On a scale of 1 to 100, I'm maybe 45% there. But there's a kind of interpretation just saying that Holy Father is a boomer, he's from the United States, he's from Chicago, which is like historically a liberal city. So all this is upbringing is actually shaping the comments he's making on these issues. That I can understand, but in general, we want the Holy Father shouldn't be influenced by all this leftist talking point agenda. And about the immigration, why is the Holy Father is being cited, criticized when he even was a cardinal, criticizing the Donald Trump policies? Now let's talk about the Vatican has walls around it. They have people, you cannot just enter the Vatican anyhow. It's the same argument Donald Trump is making. He's talking about illegal immigration. But the problem is that they knowingly find a way to just say it is immigration. Trump is not even talking about legal immigration. Even some people in the United States argue that there is an unchecked, even legal immigration. That is their prerogative, it's their country. You cannot dictate to them how, the policies, their immigration policies or their foreign policies in their own country. They decide who to let in and who not to let in. But trying to make an equivalence, just like abortion and death sentence between legal immigration and just immigration, it doesn't make any sense. These people are coming from third world countries and taking up resources meant for the individuals. Yes, I'm from Nigeria. Many people in Nigeria want to go to the United States for a better life, better economy. But if you are coming to the country in an illegal means, you are committing a crime, basically a criminal. So forget the emotions. This is their country. If they allow you into their country, fair and good, you should be thankful. You should respect the culture. Or the Holy Father is just making a blanket statement of criticizing the administration that the way they are treating immigrants, the way they are treating illegal immigrants, they're rounding them up and sending them back to their country to come back legally. Emotional an emotional African or somebody from a third world country will say it's not fair, but life is not fair. It's their country. They will tell you when and how to enter, and you don't have a right to detect and that country's foreign policy from your own country. So I just want the Holy Father to do better, and I don't want Catholics to lose faith in the papacy. The last papacy was outrageous in the work policies they were enacting, but I just want the Holy Father to do better so that matters of faith, people will still have faith in the system once more. But so far, it's not just getting it, in my own opinion. That's all I'm going to say about that. So, like I said, make sure you like, subscribe. Give me your take in the comment section. I might be wrong, but this is my own opinion. The little bit of the facts that I read out from the CCC. You know I love you, but God loves you more.